She's delighted to join the cast of Tell It tonight. For the first time, please welcome Peggy Mannix!
Summer was just hitting its stride at the end of June 1979 in East Quogue, New York, a charming hamlet on the eastern end of Long Island. I'd been married less than a year to Johnny, the love of my life. We were your classic New York couple of the 1970s, an actress and a former Wall Street suit turned cab driver chef. Johnny was returning for the summer to chef at a fabulous restaurant in town, and I had just wrapped 3 great weeks on a feature film, so I grabbed a one-way ticket to visit him and my family. Our days were filled with early morning bike rides to the beach, picnics on the canal, and late-night adventures, stealing away to make love in the dunes or in a dark, empty boat under the stars. We were madly in love, and life was loose and free. On busy nights at the restaurant, I'd fill in as the hostess. My old friend Dan Lanning was head chef and piano man extraordinaire. Throughout the night, I'd hop on the big baby grand in the main dining room and belt out a few show tunes. On this particular Saturday night, I was fashionably decked out in my suit of armor of the day. White polyester bell-bottoms with matching white polyester blouse, topped off with a burgundy polyester fitted jacket. I was 100% polyester. It was the 10:30 peak dinner hour. I had just sung Nobody Does It Like Me from Seesaw and was heading up to my hostess station with the sweet sound of laughter and applause still ringing in my ears. Someone asked for the owner, so I quickly turned around and made my way back to the crowded dining room to fetch him, and I briskly pushed open the double swing doors to the pantry. Push! I was in. No turning back. Just as I pushed, 2 waitresses were inside the pantry preparing a flambé dessert. One dessert was already lit, and as they attempted to pour the flame on the second dessert, the first flame jumped into the flambé bottle, propelling it like a rocket into the middle of the tiny pantry. The bottle was spinning uncontrollably and spewing the liquid flame into the air, spinning and spewing, and push! I'm in. I'm in the ball of flame. I am the ball of flame. Trapped, unmerciful heat, blinded by the light, hands up, desperately trying to get my flaming long hair out of my face. First thought, denial. It's not me, it's them, the waitresses who I could still see through the oily flames. Second thought, not quite a thought, but really a feeling. I felt something, saw something in the distance beyond the flame. It was a woman. She was still and beautiful. She didn't say anything. She didn't do anything. She was just there for me. And an astonishing feeling of peace and surrender washed over me, and I knew I was going to die. And it was okay. And then just as quickly, it wasn't. It wasn't okay. Third thought, I gotta get the fuck out of this furnace because it really, really hurts a lot and it's gonna kill me. My nearest exit was right back into the dining room. Remember where I had just sang Nobody Does It Like Me? My polyester ensemble is now fully engulfed and I am on fire from the top of my head to my knees. And I push those pantry doors and I plow right back into the dining room. Now, I'm just going to stop here a quick second to say that I went to Catholic school and I've always had a really long list of resentments, and this one is right at the top of the list. Those fucking nuns never taught us to stop, drop, and roll. So, I'm not stopping, dropping, or rolling. I'm running right through the dining room. A patron, who we later found out was the local dentist, jumps up, drops me down, and rolls me as he smothers the flames with his jacket. Apparently, he didn't have the nuns. I'm lying there in the middle of the very crowded dining room, very awake and hyper-aware, and literally feeling my flesh burning. And I cry out, "Are my tits okay? Are my tits okay?" I mean, it's not like I was a showgirl or anything. But you know what? I just always loved my tits. And so did my new husband. A bartender runs to the firehouse, which is directly across the street. He grabs the one volunteer fireman on duty and he races over and takes charge. The fireman and the dentist start cutting and ripping my still smoldering, melting polyester off and swiftly pouring ice water all over my body. Meanwhile, my new husband is having his own nightmare in the back, putting out the flames in the pantry. Never thinking I was anywhere near the kitchen, Johnny runs into the dining room and sees the crowd lying around someone on the floor. He knows it's bad. He can smell the burned clothes and the flesh, especially the hair. And he makes his way over to see that it's his new bride. In sickness and in health till, well, you know the rest. Here, it gets blurry. Speeding ambulance, small local hospital, ER doctor not up to the task and wants to admit me. A salty, seasoned nurse in the cubicle waits for the doctor to leave and she looks right at John and says, "Oh, she doesn't want to go?" I'm confused. Johnny's not. He moves closer to her and anxiously whispers, "Where?" She's quick and specific. Nassau County Burn Unit. He runs for the payphone. She moves to me and whispers, "We're going to get you out of here to the best burn unit on the island." That night, I had a host of angels watching over me. The spirit woman in the pantry, the dentist, the fireman, my very own nurse, Jackie, and Johnny. My Johnny, my love, who's always been listening. Early next morning, I'm helicoptered to the burn unit. The fancy name for burn treatment is called hydrotherapy debridement. They lower you on a gurney into an industrial-sized vat of water and they deeply scrub your burns to remove all the dead flesh. They tie you down. They don't knock you out with some fabulous Percocet or morphine. They need you awake so they know your breaking point. When I do finally wake up, it's Monday. I slowly open my eyes and I see my entire family around my bed. My husband, my parents, my siblings. 2 of my sisters had to get on a plane to be there. And I think, oh boy, this is bad. They're all in sterile gowns, gloves, booties, hats, and masks. All I can see is their eyes, and it's impossible for them to hide their fear as they try to comfort me. I can honestly say that looking into their eyes was maybe the most frightened I've ever felt in my life. And yet, they're all I have to verify that my face is not completely burned off because guess what? There are no mirrors in this burn unit. Strictly forbidden. My not knowing the extent of my injuries led to behavior that I can only qualify as narcissistically insane. I was a kid, a 29-year-old newlywed, and an actor without a mirror in a fucking burn unit. I became a mad woman about the mirrors. I had to see for myself how badly I was burned. By this time, the doctors were getting me up and taking some of the dressings off my body. Unable to stand up straight, hunched over like a charred cave woman, everywhere I looked, my body was ravaged by the fire, and I was horrified that my face was in the same condition. So now I'm on a solo mission to find a mirror, or anything that resembles a reflection tool. Shower heads, faucets, towel racks, they were all treated with a layer of dullness. After visiting hours, I'd go into the bathroom, and like a convict working on her escape route, I'd use a tweezer to scrape away the dullness in the towel rack. I would do a little bit every night, cover it up with the towels so the nurses wouldn't see. And I was finally able to get a very small area of reflection, and I was able to inspect my face. It took me a few days. My husband and family had been insisting that my face was healing, and I slowly started to believe them. I spent 4 weeks in the burn unit with daily doses of treatment. It was also a large teaching hospital, and after a while, I started referring to myself as the flambéed floozy, and it stuck. All of the young residents started to call me that as they made their morning rounds. I hid behind my humor in order to bear the humiliation of exposing my grotesque body to a group of mostly young men my age. But the one young man who really counted never flinched. Johnny was with me every minute of every day. That first week, still frantic and fearful, I asked him to retrieve my childhood Bible from my family home. He brought it to my bedside, but he kept clutching it really tightly as he stood there and said, "Hey, Peg, you're still going to be fun after this, aren't you?" I've always loved a man who can make me laugh. We sued the parent company of the flambe maker. It took years for us to finally settle out of court, but no money could ever repay us for what we went through. But the settlement enabled us to buy a home for our beautiful growing family, and Johnny started his own successful business. The wounds are long healed, and the scars, they are what they are, and I hardly notice them anymore. My own built-in survival skills helped me get through the fire and its immediate aftermath. But without my husband's unconditional love and his unwavering lust for me all these 38 years, I could not, would not, be able to feel as whole and as beautiful as I do today. Sometimes it takes two to heal one. Johnny and I have a favorite cartoon he gave me for an anniversary card years ago. Two skeletons, side by side, holding hands. Each one has a faint pink heart. Caption, "Till death do us part" is for quitters.